on paragraph 15 of your, it's paragraph 17.1. Yeah, you make mention of the Magagra case. Do you know who was the detective who was leading the case?
The provincial team were investigating the case. That's why the docket was transferred to the political killings team. In fact, the imprisoned Dlamini was one of the investigators.
Okay. Who made a breakthrough in the case?
Who?
Who made the breakthrough?
Yes,
in relation
the team made the breakthrough, yeah.
Who arrested the mayor and the other accused?
They were they got the information together which led to them being charged.
What was the role of General Dumisani Khumalo in that investigation?
I don't know where he was then, quite honestly, because he was, as I said, he was floating around doing all the arrangements, the project arrangements, and then he figured at some stages in alleged instructions to some of the members.
Did General Khumalo not lead the breakthrough in the case?
In that, as far as I know.
General Khumalo was not involved?
Well, certainly not in any of the investigations.
We have got a different evidence in front of us, but it's fine, let's pass. You speak about organizational structures. Particularly, you speak about an organizational structure of the PKTT. And we are comparing that with an E2 of 1990, that it had a better organizational structure compared to the PKTT.
The structure, can I answer that? The structure in the 90s was the typical type of structure that had been set up for short-term task investigations for political killings.
So did you consciously compare apartheid police to a democratic dispensation?
It was democratic. It was the Mandela government and Favers was the national commissioner. This was the late 90s.
Okay. Do you perhaps know that the more the population grows, the more the needs of society actually change?
In some respects, yes. But I mean, policing, it stands to reason that if you have a task team, it's for a specific purpose and it is controlled by senior detectives.
Okay. You speak about that it was unnecessary for the PKTT to be established to protect politicians who you pay handsomely and they're doing no job.
Some are, some aren't.
Do you know how much a ward councillor of a grade 3 municipality earns? Have you made a research to that effect?
Let me just explain this. I deal with poor people who don't even have jobs or they're informal sector, they get no protection. When someone's killed, the cases seldom get to court. So we're talking relative here, relative to that. I also know that some councillors wouldn't be there if they had to apply in the open market for a job. And a lot of these councillors have protection. Remember, they can draw on... Yeah. So,
have you made a research on how much does a ward councillor of a grade 2 municipality earns?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
I'll tell you why, because it wasn't a paid job in the past.
That response of you haven't is enough. With what authority do you think that these politicians, you pay them handsomely? And you'll recall that we talk about mostly councillors here, because it's councillors who are mostly affected by the political killings. So with what authority, if you have not made any research of how much what councillors earn, with what authority do you say You pay them handsomely and they're doing nothing.
Relative, I'm not saying they're all doing nothing. I'm saying a lot of them aren't. We have
No,
accounts.
no, Doc. In the statement, you did not say some of them.
I do not. I could have found out what they earned, but
Doc,
this is relative to
Doc,
the majority of the population.
Doc,
getting
this is your statement.
Yes.
You signed on it.
Yes.
You initialed every page. You did not say some politicians. You said politicians who are doing nothing, who you pay handsomely. Now, I'm asking, if you have not done a research of how much a ward councillor of a grade 2 municipality earns, with what authority are you saying you pay them handsomely?
Well,
where did you get that?
As I've seen, they make a reasonable living out of being a councillor, and I don't think compared with so many people in this country who can't even find a job, it's a relative term and it's a general term.
The time has come to an end, and I see.
Deleted my term.
Yeah.
Yes, Chair.
There was at some point where I interjected. I can give you 3 more minutes. And Doctor, may you please, like I requested, be precise when you answer questions. If the questions requires a yes or no answer, just say yes or say no. Don't say yes and no. You just say yes or no.
I'm sorry, but sometimes it needed qualification.
Responding to me, he has not asked you a question.
Yeah. Thanks, Chair. Chair, can you also consider that Honorable Kanyile says must also proceed on her behalf? Okay. Doc, do you believe on the principle of governing on the will of the people?
Yes, I do. And again, I could qualify that. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Do you not think that the perpetual killing of public representatives is actually silencing the will of the people?
No. You wouldn't get such competition to be a councillor if people felt threatened by being a councillor.
No. Still you don't get me. I'm saying you have got councillors elected by communities whom are ascending to be councillors on the basis of being voted by the majority in a ward. Isn't that the will of the people?
Yeah, that's a subject that we need a lot longer to discuss, because what I find is that we haven't done nearly enough voter education about why people vote for people when they never ever get to see their councillors.
The why is a different discussion. Yeah. But the point is, those elected public representatives elected on the basis of the will of the people, and those that which perpetually continue to kill them are actually silencing the will of the people. Isn't that true?
No, I don't agree, because, I mean, what about, I mean, it's superficially maybe, but what about all the other important people that are working in the community that are getting...
You are focusing on a different subject. I'm saying...
Yeah, but we're talking...
We agree, me and you now, that those who are elected ward councillors, for example, are elected on the basis of the will of the people. Then if there is a grouping that perpetually seek to murder or unalive those who are elected, that is actually silencing the will of the people of that community. Do you agree?
Can I just explain? You would need...
No, don't explain. Don't explain, Doc. The chair is on my neck. Don't explain.
But councillors are generally at risk. They're not. A lot of councillors just get on with doing their jobs and they're not...
No, Doc, still you're not answering me.
I've answered you.
We have not. We have not, Doc. Is killing a person who is as a result of the will of the people not silencing the will of those people? is. Do you agree? That if we elect you as our ward councillor, as the people of this parliament community, is our will as the people, then those who will come and kill you are actually silencing our will, which is the people.
Well, what if the councillor was corrupt? You might be doing...
No, let's leave that.
No, but doctor,
Let's leave that.
No, doctor. Even if a person is corrupt, the person does not deserve to be killed.
No, nobody deserves to be killed. Nobody, no matter how crooked or corrupt, nobody.
Honorable Ngola, your time has come to an end, unfortunately.
Thank you.
We are going to move to the MKP.
Yeah, I wanted us to explore the reason for the establishment.
Is it yourself, Honorable Nomvalo, and who?
Yes, myself and I was taking us all together.
We allocate 20 minutes per speaker. We're taking 2 from you now.
2.
Who is speaking? Who are the 2 speakers now from you?
Myself and comrades Kosana.
Listen, your time starts now.
I'm listening, Chair.
It's going to end.
I'm listening.
Yeah, it's going to end at 10 minutes past.
But I'm being disturbed here.
I'm saying that your time, both of you, is going to end at 10 minutes past 5.
Okay,
Plus the discretionary 5 minutes of the chair. Discretionary.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate in advance, Chair. Doc, how are you? Are you okay, Doc? Do you understand how the South African justice system operates?
Sorry, do I understand how South Africans?
Justice system. Do you know how the justice cluster is designed? The South African justice cluster.
I know how the justice is supposed to work. I have the basic outline of it, and I know that for most people it doesn't work.
Do you understand the role of each and every component in a justice cluster?
The justice cluster, well, I know what the NPA, what the police, what the various security industries are supposed to do, and I know there's a military, and I know there's a correctional services.
But the question is, do you understand each role of each cluster? I mean, of each component?
Yeah, it's in the Constitution.
Of each entity, rather, do you understand?
Well, more or less. I mean, I can't give you chapter and verse, but I check the Constitution regularly to see what they're supposed to be doing.
Do you understand the work of the NPA?
I do, yes.
Do you understand the work of the police?
Yes, I mean, I understand the role of the police, the SAPS Act, the constitutional provisions about ministers and what they should do.
Yeah, before I go to my ultimate question, because these are just questions leading to an ultimate question. The problem with you is that you, in your evidence, largely that you have tendered so far, you keep on saying you don't know. And when we were intervening here, when you were being evasive, when you were evasive, I said to you, largely you are relying on hearsay. And the unfortunate part is that the hearsay evidence is evidence whose credibility relies on a person other than the person giving evidence. So the evidence that you are giving here, its credibility doesn't rely on you because you distance yourself from it while you are the one who gave it here. That is my problem. And I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fact that your evidence or your perspective on the PKTT influenced an executive decision. That's why I have a problem. I don't have a problem with you damsacking. That is none of my business. But the problem here is that you have damsacked at the expense of South Africans. That is my biggest problem with you. Now, if you say you understand the role of the NPA versus the role of the SAPS, why would you blame the police for bail applications and for the withdrawal of cases? How do they feature?
I've made it perfectly clear that the decision is with the NPA and that we have a problem with the NPA, because I have worked with prosecutors from the 90s. I know what they're supposed to do, and I know that we have a problem with prosecutors themselves, especially the one, how come that we had things going well with good prosecutors in the province, both at Cleveland's, even with the Magaka case, until they were removed, and we get a man who's against whom there are very serious complaints being made in Gauteng. Is it just a coincidence? Right. So I've said it informally. We have more of a problem with the NPA than we do with the police, because they're supposed to be the people that are saying, go back and get more evidence. We saw this, if I could give a very brief example. And this is something I know so well, day in, day out. When the carnage started in Cleveland's hostel in Durban, it was all about the councillor. And the minute people said you're not delivering, they started killing the people.
Yeah, no, Doc, for the sake of my time, I think I have to cut you.
Quickly.
No, Doc. We're sharing time, remember, yeah. So you have to do justice to my time as well.
That the prosecutors are a problem in many areas.
Yeah. Do you know how the PKTT was designed?
I know it was designed. It was designed to be headed by the National Deputy.
No. Do you know which role players or professionals who were part of the PKTT or entities from the Justice Cluster?
They were supposed to be. You see, there's an ideal and there's a real. They were supposed to be interministerial. Supposed to be. But we've never seen a report.
No, I mean at a grassroots level. Do you know the components or entities of the Justice Cluster who were part of the PKTT?
They were supposed to be the correctional services, the prosecution, intelligence, police, and forgotten the other one now off the top of my head.
So that's
supposed to be.
But they were never part.
I've never seen a pronouncement coming from that interministerial team. It was always in the rare pronouncements. I think there were two of them.
So if I put it to you that it consisted of the police and the NPA as well, then that would mean you don't know how it was formulated.
No, I know that. I've just said it. It was police, justice, interministerials.
No, remember you said they were supposed to be, and you further said you were not aware if they were part because an announcement was not made. You remember? That's what you said.
And then, no, what happened is it was announced as interministerial with those components, right? Then after that, the only public announcements, and there were very few, I can remember two, but clearly there was no mention of any reports coming from an interministerial team in the public.
In the public?
So.
In the public?
Yeah.
So you analyzed it at a first value? When you say in the public, because you don't know if such reports were given in internal meetings. Because there was a reporting mechanism, remember? Internal reporting mechanism that was put in place. So you don't know whether that mechanism or those processes were followed.
Well,
to tender reports.
Should they not have been public?
Or your expectation was that maybe a media briefing should be called and they are made available to the public. Is that what you are saying?
It was clearly who called the media briefing.
Okay. You know, another problem I have here is that I think from page 1 until the last page of your statement, you keep the gist of your concerns around the operation of the PKTT is centered around the alleged victimization of victims. So the conclusion which I draw here is that you were mostly concerned about the victims and not, the accused, sorry. It's centered around the accused people. Some are in custody, some were not arrested. Some, according to your allegation, were harassed by the police. And you say nothing about the victims and the families who lost their loved ones.
On the contrary, I'm very concerned. Mrs. Magaka Senior has been sitting in court for 7 years with no progress. And that was why, and the hitman wanted to confess and tell the story. She just wanted to know why her son was killed. And she's not the only one. Some of those cases have dragged on and on. And why are we not saying, but how many more people? The biggest problem I have in what I do is getting justice for people. It's almost impossible. People have no closure. And we're not talking just a select group of politicians. We're talking South Africans generally. So it's part of the problem, and there is this deliberate delaying tactic.
Okay, somewhere in your statement you are saying political killings in 2016 were mostly precipitated by internal ANC political dynamics, and they were mostly triggered by Zuma versus Ramaphosa faction. Who told you that?
People in the ANC. I was even given a copy of a hit list at one stage.
No, because fortunately I was a member of the ANC at that time. I think in my region, for instance, and my region was one of the hotspot areas in KZN.
Which one was that?
Herikwala region.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I think we lost about four or five comrades.
Yeah.
And what you are saying does not feature in the reasons for political killings at that time. It doesn't feature anywhere. There was no Zuma and Ramaphosa faction which led to to these political killings. People were just fighting for power in a regional jurisdiction. So where do you get this from? I've got a problem really, because seemingly here you are giving us unscientific perspectives. And the problem with these perspectives of yours, of yours, is that they influenced an executive decision. And you come here, you tell us, I don't know, and you are thumb-sucking.
Thumb-sucking.
You never engaged in any scientific process. You were not an ANC member, you were not in the leadership, you never did any inquiry.
Oh, I did.
In the ANC to establish the reasons for these political killings.
I did speak to people in the ANC, and we picked up a lot about the conflict over what was happening, even in Cleveland's hostel, and in different places. So, it matters not at all. It's a minor detail about the politics of all this. The deaths are the deaths, whether they're Ramaphosa, whether they're Zuma, whether they're any other supporter. It's not a major thing in the disbandment of the task team. I'm saying that when the task team was disbanded, there was already a conviction for one of those pre-election deaths. And there were other investigations.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, Doc, you are wrong to say that the political killings in KZN around 2016 were precipitated by the prevalence of the Zuma and Ramaphosa factions, respectively, in the province. You are wrong. That is unscientific.
Well, are you able to be objective if you're a member?
I told you, I just gave you a scenario of my region. I told you that in my region, none of what you are saying transpired. In my region, 5 comrades died. It's all known, it's there in the public domain that, for instance, the prominent murder of Cindy Zomakaka was as a result of corruption allegations. Really. So there was no Zuma and the Ramaphosa factionalism there.
That was after the elections, the death of Magaka.
No, but I'm saying what you are saying is unscientific. Where did it happen? Who belonged to a Zuma faction who was killed? Or who belonged to a Ramaphosa faction who was killed?
Joe Dlamini, who was in the Ramaphosa faction, who was the top of the hit list, who got killed.
You want to write it down? Who?
He was called Joe Dlamini. He was a traffic officer. I think he was Joe Dlamini. It's in that article. He was
Joe Dlamini from which region?
Pietermaritzburg.
Pietermaritzburg.
Yeah.
From which branch?
Oh gosh, as if I can remember that now. He was on the hit list. He was number one on the hit list, and there was a conviction.
He was number one of?
On the hit list that was going around at the time before the election.
Were the perpetrators arrested?
Yes, by the provincial team.
Were they sentenced?
Yes.
Under which charge?
Murder.
Under murder.
Yeah.
Were the reasons were they established for that murder? Were reasons established?
I haven't looked. Look, I know there was a conviction. I only use that to illustrate the fact that the provincial team was doing convictions. He was murdered. He was a politician. Right.
Yeah,
I'm not. I think when the topic here, I'm not saying one other faction is involved.
Doctor,
yeah.
What the honourable member wants to ask you is, after the conviction was made, did you get hold of the judgment?
No, because it was in progress at the time I wrote. I got that information from sources within the ANC, including one man whose name was, or at least one that was on the hit list.
But there are grounds on which the presiding officer arrives at the conclusion, at the conviction.
I know.
That is what he wants to know.
Yeah. No, it didn't concern me afterwards. I was only looking at who got convicted and who didn't want. And I agree with you, because it's exactly what happened in the Ntuli case that they boast about.
Yeah, let's allow the honourable member to proceed with his line of question.
Yeah, you are also saying, Doc, in your statement that the establishment of the PKTT was unnecessary. And that is your reason. I'm quoting you verbatim. In that it was led by General Mkhwanazi, General Khumalo, and Captain, I think it's Flying, from the NIU. So is that your only reason? Is that the only reason that you rely on to suggest that the PKTT was unnecessary? Because the expectation, as I was reading your statement, was that you will go further to explain why you say it was unnecessary. You have just limited it on who was leading it, and it ends there.
No, it's one of the reasons. I mean, to start with, I've never heard of an investigative team that hasn't got a senior detective leading it. I mean, it's just one of the reasons.
Okay. So you and my observation based on your statement is that you never agreed with its establishment from the inception, correct?
No. At the inception, I had an open mind. It was a couple of years later when I saw very little.
No. But why are you saying? Because you are saying in your statement, the provincial team that was there before the PKTT. Yes. Was more efficient and effective. That's what you are saying in your statement. Yes. So that means if your belief is that it was more efficient and effective, then there was no need for the establishment of this one. And you even say the arrest of Sindiso Makaka was made by a detective of the provincial team, not the PKTT. The PKTT hubotized it because cases were later withdrawn. That's what you are saying in your statement. So that is why I'm saying to you, you never agreed with its establishment from inception.
Oh, I need to explain. I didn't understand why.
Can you speak through your mic?
Yes, no, because I didn't.
No. Your mic.
Yeah,
Not yes, no. Your mic, yeah.
I didn't understand why it should be established, but we had all this going on about, well, the Morani Commission said it should be. I thought, well, let's see what it does. And then I couldn't actually find out much about it, what it does. And 2 years later, it didn't seem to have done much at all.
You are also saying that some accused people did not get legal representations, and you attribute that demise to the PKTT.
No. I'm not saying it's because of the PKTT. It's much wider than that. People are being let down. The PKTT victims, like the let's use the hitman because it's such a Nglegwa. I mean, they're getting legal advice, but not. The lawyers are often, the legal aid offers are often inexperienced, and the prosecution is quite intimidating, and various people independently have given information about bribery being fairly common. So I don't know who is getting bribed and who isn't. But
no, but do you know that because you have made that criticism under your criticism or within the criticism of the PKTT, the issue of legal representation. Do you know that it's a responsibility of the Legal Aid Board to give legal representation to people who qualify to get it?
I know that.
So the police enter nowhere in that space. If people who deserve to get free legal representation through legal aid don't get it, then a blame can be attributed to the legal aid, not to the PKTT.
I didn't blame the PKTT for it. These victims are like other victims. You know, if I say to them, but did you ask your lawyer to do this? I asked him and he didn't do it. Or what is your lawyer? Well, the lawyer doesn't listen to me. Now, these are, you know, this is a comment generally I'm talking about. And because of the PKTT having this prosecutor that is widely accused of bringing cases that are fabricated, if that's the case, then people suffer even more if they haven't got a very smart lawyer. I mean, in the case of Dlamini, his co-accused, I kept saying to him, but look, if you think this magistrate is partisan, you can actually apply, you know, if you can give evidence if you can talk about that, you can apply for a change of magistrate. He said, I asked my lawyer to do it, and he didn't do it. Then along comes an advocate for the co-accused, and he's quite sharp. And when the judgment finally happens, he checks the judgment, and he finds that it's fabricated evidence of the judgment, non-existent case law. So when he goes back to court...
Yeah, no.
So what I'm saying is he had a good lawyer that picked it up.
Okay. Now my last question. You are saying, the PKTT is grossly irregular. What do you mean? And based on which law are you saying it's grossly irregular?
Okay. It doesn't have any permanent senior leadership in detective service.
So that is your reason?
I have a list of people who...
No. If please, because I'm running out of time. Doc, please. In terms of which law, do you have any law which supports your argument that it is grossly irregular? In terms of which law? If there's no law, it's okay. Say I can't cite any law. I will leave it there. I won't pursue it further.
There's no law that talks about...
Okay. No, thank you very much. I think I've run out of time. Thank you very much. Honorable Kosana can come in.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nomvalo. Jali, your time starts now.
Thank you, Chair. Doc, Can you please, when you respond, use your mic, please?
Right.
Thank you. Chair, I'm going to start by asking Dr. de Haas, before we go anywhere, on what legal authority do you believe you can involve yourself so intimately in such operation?
I'm a human rights defender, which is an internationally recognized status of acting to protect people from harm. It is that status. Don't come to me now with this thing about locus standi, because even the Constitution, if I recall correctly, allows somebody who's not a lawyer to appeal on behalf of someone, you know, to ask for example, for example, what I've done often is that I've actually asked for a review of a decision not to prosecute, and I've gone to the national prosecutor. Yeah, and I can do that.
Thank you. I just want answers.
Yeah.
I know you're a doctor and a professor, so it's easy to, lecturing someone. But here I need answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because we are not SAPS. We are not IPD. We are not IGI. We are not a sworn officer. Am I right?
I'm not, but I mean, don't you understand that when the police force has been as badly corrupted as ours has, and we're still fortunate to have a lot of good police at all levels, because the evidence is there, even in media reports about the nepotism and the people suddenly being brigadiers and they've never been in the police. So don't lecture me about that, because the problem is that you need oversight of the police. You can't rely on the police to tell you the truth if you're criticizing the police.
Yeah, but Doc, you are contradicting yourself. You said earlier, yourself now, you say you cannot rely on the police. But you gave us a statement in your statements here. Wait, Doc. You said that you've been given information by some police who, according to you, are credible.
Yes.
Now you can't say to me we don't have a police. They are not credible now. We are changing your own statement.
No, I'm not.
No, you are saying now to us, to the committee, not me, that we don't have a credible police men and women. But the people who gave you this information are police, am I right?
Have I not just said we are lucky to still have credible police? We're talking now general police management since 2019 has been getting more and more problems.
Thank you.
Right. But we're talking that there are still credible people in the police, and those are the people I am supporting.
So in other words, the only credible people are those who are coming to you. Those who don't come to you are not credible. Wait, Doc. Wait for the question, please. I always ask, don't be emotional.
No.
Let me ask you a simple question. Because you've been following this Ad Hoc Committee, am I right? You've been following it.
Listen to everything. I've got too much else to do.
Thank you. Now, is General Mkhwanazi credible?
I don't believe he is. And
I
don't believe General Mkhwanazi is credible.
And is General Malo credible?
Nope, definitely not.
Is General Sibia credible?
Pardon?
Is General Sibia credible?
No, that I don't know. I haven't done enough to deal with him.
No, but
I don't know if he's credible.
No, but the other two I ask you, that they're not credible according to.
And Masemola, he perjured himself to Parliament.
No, I'm not yet there, Doc.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come later on that.
Honorable Skosana, let's hear the last statement that you say, Doc. What are you saying? You say Masemola what?
He perjured himself to Parliament. You can ask the committee. I put a formal complaint in. What happened was At the end of 2022, just after Patricia Mashale had almost been killed, they asked us to give evidence. They didn't let us, and Masemola gave evidence that was lies.
I was not saying that you must explain. I just want to hear this. You say Commissioner Masemola perjured himself to Parliament.
Yes. And I'm also told that General Mkhwanazi changed his sworn statement. I don't know if that's correct.
No, Doctor. Doctor.
I don't.
You know, when I talk to you, I talk to you as a young South African who must learn from you. So, whose decision is it that Commissioner Masemola perjured himself before Parliament?
He gave in December, or was it the 30th of November, 2022?
No, yes.
He did. He told lies about Patricia and Gordon Mashale. That's when it happened.
Doctor, the question is, whose decision is it that Commissioner Masemola perjured himself before Parliament?
Because the facts were shown to be wrong.
Whose decision is it?
Various people, starting with the decision was for an interrogation by Parliament to see if it was correct.
This Ad Hoc Committee is still conducting investigations.
Okay.
It has not concluded its business. But that's why I'm asking yourself, whose decision is it that Commissioner Masemola perjured himself before a committee of Parliament? Whose decision is it?
I first wrote to the Speaker because the problem was that what he said was repeated and published without any. And then I sent a formal complaint to the police committee.
Can I respectfully ask you to withdraw that statement, because as a committee we have never arrived at that decision. As the chairperson of this committee, the committee you speak about is chaired by me sitting here.
Okay.
We haven't arrived at any decision that Commissioner Masemola perjured himself before Parliament. May you please withdraw that?
Well, can I say he allegedly perjured himself because... No.
Dr. De Haas, there is no other way to say it. There is only one way.
All right.
The one way is the one that I'm saying.
Okay, you can withdraw it. I'm fine with that.
May you respectfully say I withdraw the statement because the committee has not arrived at that decision.
Please do that.
Yes.
I would appreciate it.
Can you do that?
Please do it,
I want to hear you saying that I withdraw.
I withdraw that because the committee is not dealing with it and has, as far as I know, not dealing with it. I answered a question.
Yes. May you say, I withdraw the statement I made about Commissioner Masemola.
I withdraw the statement I made about Commissioner Masemola.
Thank you so much, Jali. May you proceed.
Thank you, Chair. You know, it's only 3 questions in 10 minutes. It's disappointing, but be that as it may, can you please explain, Doc, because you are a private individual, how did you come to a position to position yourself as an oversight mechanism over detectives, prosecutors, and intelligence structures?
It's part of my position as a human rights defender to help people who are at risk and who are being harassed, persecuted for what and apparently, I mean, you know, let me just say I'm quite astonished because I don't know. I reported 4 years ago to Parliament that General Khumalo's members were seizing phones without a court order. Now, I would have thought that Parliament would have said, but hang on a sec, let's just check this out and see if it's really happening.
Your assertions, unofficially you spoke to, which you don't want to give us names as we speak. And I'm not sure who authorized them. And how do you come to a conclusion that what they gave you, because there's no OD here, you don't know the other side of the story. in my view, I'll be honest and frank to you. Your hate towards General Khumalo.
I don't hate it.
No, wait, Doc. Wait, Doc. Because your statement here before us, like many others, like Sibia who came here to say what Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was talking about is a dream. But we know now, the country as well knows today that his bravery. We are not taking sides. Remember, we are still probing here. You are giving us, what you gave us here are allegations as well. Do you agree with that? Please don't explain. Do you agree that what you are telling us, like any other witness, are still allegations before us?
Look, when you speak to somebody that you know very well, and somebody who's always been very honest, and the phones have gone, and when the phones come back, one is damaged. The person knows the law. All they had to do was come back and say, well, here's the order. And they didn't.
Doc, are you sure that those phones were damaged by the police? Are you sure of that?
Am I sure? Sorry?
Are you sure that those gadgets you are talking about were damaged by the police?
One was, apparently. The owner told me that. The phone was damaged when he got it. So I'm not supposed to believe people that I know very well that have always told the truth.
Doc, you say you know these people very well.
Mm.
That's you who are telling us that. Must we believe you that you know them very, very well? Are those your informers?
No, this is Tabisa Zulu.
No. I'm saying, are those your informers? Because you know them very well.
I told you that the informers that I won't mention names of are police members.
So why should this committee rely on hearsay obtained throughout irregular means? Because what you are telling us, the police can go as well. They know where to go. There's IP.
The police can, sorry, what did you say about the police can also do this?
I said to you, why should this committee rely on a hearsay obtained through irregular means?
What do you mean irregular means? If I've made an affidavit about it, about what I was told, what I asked Khumalo, what I asked Mkhwanazi. If I don't get feedback from them, how can I prove whether it's true or false? I expect Parliament to question them or to get it investigated.
Okay, let's go to, because I know I'm not going to win on this one. But the fact remains that the statement which you gave us is allegation, is not facts. Until we finish this probe. Now I'm going to go to your political narratives vis-a-vis evidence. In paragraph 4, you claim that there was an obvious attempt by certain ANC factions to secure municipal control. Who told you that?
Oh, gosh, we were hearing it all over the place, including in eThekwini especially, where
Sorry, Chair.
Reported in the media.
Chair, through you, Chair. Let me repeat my question again. In paragraph 4, you claim that there was an obvious attempt by certain ANC faction to secure municipal control. My question is, who told you that? Or unless you are an intelligent analyst.
Well, it was almost common knowledge, and certainly people in the ANC told me that. Well, this one supports this one supports that one supports this one. And we were looking at the councillors in the eThekwini particularly.
You had no access to classified briefings, am I right?
No. I don't personally have any access to anything classified. I think there's too much classification. We've got to get oversight going.
So what gives you the certainty to declare political motives?
Sorry, what classification are you talking about?
What gives you the certainty to declare political motives?
What I am reporting is what ANC people were telling me at the time, and they can contest it.
Do they show you
to them to contest it if they wish.
Do they show you their membership card to say these are?
Well, I know some of them are. I have a pretty good network. Yeah.
Yeah, but some, no, not all of them.
And we had more or less a good idea of what was going on in the areas at Glebelands around there. And but I mean, this is all past history. It's got nothing to do with the task team.
No, listen. We are talking about the killings here. All these questions here. I'm not taking, I'm sucking anywhere outside the terms of reference which we have.
Yes.
Thank you. Why do you freely attribute to political motives killings, but later on paragraph 17.3, criticize us for defining political killings? Is that not the contradiction?
Sorry, 17?
Paragraph 17.3.
I'm sorry, it's this one.
Like the reconstruction of PKT structures.
17.3. You mean I tried to explain, I've worked with since 1990, since the establishment of the Goldstone Commission, and there's been a consistent teams that always have senior detectives in charge.
Yeah, in fact, let me just help you. Judge Goldstone was an apartheid judge in 1990. We're not transformed in this country during those years. And I want to put it to you that those issues which you are really familiar with invoke the pains of South Africans. If you are talking about Judge Goldstone as if he's an angel, with me, you are completely wrong. But be that as it may, let's go further because there's no time now. In paragraph 7, you allege that Minister Cele went behind their backs.
That's what police told me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Were you present, or is it hearsay as well? Were you present, or is it a hearsay?
I said this was what they were saying. I didn't say I was present.
So you agree with me that almost what you gave us on your statement is hearsay?
No.
It's hearsay.
No, it's not. I know a lot of this to be as factual as can be. I mean, tell me, have any of you asked whether it's true that Mkhwanazi went and stopped the arrest of a human trafficker on the instructions of Cele? This is a police note. Has anyone asked that? Because I don't know if it's true.
Let's not off-ramp talk. Intelligence claim without verification is false.
Look, that's a whole subject in itself. I just want to say one thing in my own defense. Do you know, in the middle of the 80s, when this violence broke out, I quoted a line from Bob Dylan's song.
Yeah, wait.
Death will it take till we know how many people have died. Look, and that was I was blaming the white government. Look at the people who are dying now. And a black government, and nobody cares about them, but they care about politicians dying. I mean, this is what bugs me. I'm dealing with poor people getting killed, no justice.
Let me tell you, Doc.
Everyone does anything with money spent on the task team.
Dr. de Haas.
Yeah. If you want to, I think we
Dr. de Haas. Yeah. Dr. de Haas. Honorable Skosana is a young South African. And when a young South African appeals to the chair to say he needs protection from a senior citizen, I get worried because, you know, I have respectfully requested you that sitting here as young South Africans, we want to tap wisdom from you. And I want him to tap wisdom from you. Honorable Skosana,
Yes, before I conclude, because I know the chair will be saying to me, it's time up. Let me say this quickly. Yeah. In paragraph 30 to 32, you present extremely a serious intelligence allegation. You then admit in your own way, I have no way of confirming any of these allegations. If you cannot confirm them yourself, why are you presenting them as evidence to Parliament?
No.
Did you at any point verify these claims with intelligence, with the Inspector General of Intelligence? And what statutory authority do you have to receive crime intelligence information? Your contradiction about sense of Mkhunu leaves much to be desired. Can you respond on that before I give you my last question?
All I can say is I wanted to make it clear I was asked what I knew about intelligence. I gave a very general report about what I had heard, not specifics, allegations, and I said I have no way of knowing whether these allegations are true. I would not have even included that had I not been asked to do it.
In fact, you said in your own way that you expected Minister Mkhunu to do nothing. But there's a claim that you wrote a letter to Minister Mkhunu to disband PKTT. Am I right?
Yes, I think that's not disputed. It's there.
Lastly, Chair, Dr. de Haas, much of your affidavit is, if you will remember, I just want you to remember, and when you respond on me, please be factual, because and confirm whether what I'm going to put to you is it in your own weight, or am I right? Hearsay, Chair, I want to make it clear. No, wait, Doc. The statement which were given to us is hearsay, unverified allegations, opinions, narratives from accused persons, leaked intelligence, and reconstruction based on anonymous sources. Why should this committee treat any of this so-called reliable evidence put before us?
Can I explain that most of it is not hearsay to me? It's what lawyers, what victims, what community members have told me. I don't know I raised intelligence because I was asked to and because I wanted to motivate this committee, or not this Parliament, to rush that civilian control of intelligence through. Remember, Cindy Mufamadi's report saying it's urgent because of the creeping culture of secrecy. That's why I put that there.
Let me say this to you, Doc. You spoke about the 1980s. The National Commissioner, then he was working for the Special Branch. Wait, no, I haven't finished. I don't know what hence I don't know what you're going to answer, because I'm still telling you that some of us, he tortured us in the 80s. Now,
sure.
I want to put it to you, Doc, that your statements as well, as I said when we started, some of the journalists, not all of them, I gave names times ago. You know, Karen Morgan, Anden Passon. You know them. You know, you operate like them.
Well,
Marian Dam and others. You know, you sensationalize this. And unfortunately, Minister Senzo Mkhunu as well listen to you. But you can't direct Parliament to do what you want. We need facts here. No, not dumb side. We don't need essays here. Yeah. But anyway, thank you, Doc, and thank you, Chair, for your time.
Honorable Skusana, thank you so much. Honorable Nomvalo, your hand was up.
Yes, it was up for a follow-up question, Chair. I just wanted to ask from Dr. Mary de Haas. Doc, Do you know what hearsay is?
Very well.
Because you seem to have a particular understanding of what it means.
I've tried to explain.
And please don't be too long.
To me, and gives me very detailed evidence. It's not hearsay. It's direct.
No. Wait, Mary.
To you, it's hearsay.
Doc, when we say hearsay, we mean to us because we are presenting what you know to us. You are not presenting to yourself. I said to you, I gave you a legal definition of what hearsay evidence is. That hearsay is an information whose credibility relies on the other person, other than the person who is giving that information. So here, you are giving an information. And the credibility of the information you are giving doesn't rely on you because you are saying, I was told. So it means it relies on the person who told you. That is why we are saying it's hearsay. Had those people who told you, who are invisible to us, written statements, had they wrote statement under oath for you to attach them to your statements, we will be speaking a different language. So it's people of Mkosi who told you Mkosi and you come and present it here as facts. That is what we are saying. So the credibility of what you are telling us does not rely on you. It relies on the people who told you. And it's hearsay to us. Do you agree with that?
I agree. And this is why I have been writing to Parliament and asked them to hold people to account. If there's an allegation that people are seizing phones without a court order, have you brought them in? Have you got a copy of the order? That's the only way you'll ever verify it.
Yeah. No. I just wanted us to have a common understanding on the meaning of hearsay.
She confirmed.
Then we leave it there. So you agree with me?
She confirmed, Honorable Nomva.
Thank you.
Can I check this with you? Did I hear you calling Mary?
No, I later changed. I said.
Did I hear you?
I later changed. I said, Doc.
Yeah, just say to her that because sometimes in the conversation we have to throw word after word. I unfortunately called you Mary when I was not supposed to have done so.
But I corrected it, and she did not raise any discomfort. I corrected it immediately. I realized that I made a mistake.
I heard it from where I'm sitting. That is why.
And it was corrected. It means that the only part you missed is a correction because I corrected.
No, because I know you to always be a person of good intentions.
Exactly.
That is why she must not live here with a wrong impression about you.
No, but it was corrected, Doc.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. It was corrected.
Chief Whip.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. Good afternoon, Dr. De Haas. I just want to make a follow-up on the flowing from what we have just agreed. I take it that you are conceding to the explanation of the meaning of hearsays as provided for by Honorable Nomvalo. Can I ascertain if you are agreeing with his explanation?
Well, technically, perhaps, but I mean, can I explain? If I get somebody telling me something and I can verify it from somebody else, as with some of what's in these letters, I am leaving it to somebody else to interrogate it further. That's why I report to the police. That's why I report to Parliament. I'm asking them to take what I'm giving them to verify it.
Okay. So therefore, in that context, should we therefore conclude that all your unverified allegations are not the basis upon which we can depend on as we prepare our report as a committee?
May I ask if you have asked General Mkhwanazi and General Khumalo for verification of everything they've said?
Okay, I will answer your question, but please answer mine first, because I asked her first.
Look, I am reporting what I believe is true from different sources about the political killings team.
That's not an answer to
That's,
my...
if you say it's hearsay, well, that's your opinion. To me, it's not. To me, it's empirical, factual information.
Okay, let me explain. I thought we are logical people. And so, because we are logical people, we are following a particular rationality in our conversation. That is why I said it therefore flows from what Honorable Nomvalo has said, that therefore it would be rational for us as a Committee of Parliament to treat your evidence before us to a larger extent as he has said, because it's until there's a verification about it.
Well, as long as you treat everybody else's evidence in the same way, I wouldn't have a problem.
So if...
Yeah, no, I hear you. Dr. De Haas, I'm listening to your responses to Honorable Nomvalo and Honorable Ntuli. And you are saying these matters came to my attention. That's what you are saying.
Yes.
And I'm considering the information that I have gathered in serious light. And in several occasions, I would have returned to Parliament or I would have written to authorities for them maybe to investigate these matters further. That's what you are saying.
Yes.
And then when they have investigated, you expect them to either report back, even if they don't report back to you, but just to report back to the people they represent in government. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, more or less. It's you like a court to assess. Yeah.
And that the evidence that you have deposed in your statement, and maybe that you would have presented here orally, is evidence which is still pending verification, because at the time you wrote, it was still not verified.
No, because I had no way of verifying it, did I? Unless the cases are in court.
No, I'm not. Yeah. Look, on your part.
On my part.
On your part, you might have consulted one or two people and they corroborated. But on the part of the authorities, let's say the police commissioner, the minister, or the chairperson of a portfolio committee in Parliament, or a speaker of Parliament, have not returned back to you to say, the information that you gave us, we investigated it, and now we are satisfied that it holds true.
No, nothing like that has happened. That's why I was very glad that there were to be investigations when, I mean, again, regretfully, I shall not name the commission.
So when you heard that there is going to be an ad hoc committee to investigate, you got excited.
Well, I was very pleased that Parliament was sitting up and paying attention to what was a serious matter, because
that is what the Chief Whip wants to know from you, that some of the information here, by your own evidence, still have to be verified.
Well, of course, I mean, until cases, the verification in criminal matters is done by a court to the best of its ability, and then it gets contested. I mean, there was one case the task team got convictions for. It had to go all the way to the Concourt before Concourt threw it out because of procedural irregularity. So it's a long process verifying, isn't it?
Yes, because remember the cases that you make reference to here, most of them are, in fact, not most of them, all of them are cases of murder. So yeah, these are very, very complex investigations. And some of the allegations that you make, they go beyond superficial statements. they have to be intensively investigated, and some even scientifically. So you are saying before this committee that some of the information deposed here still has to be verified.
Well, if the cases are in court, I mean, the court will assess in due course, and maybe there'll be an appeal, and you know how it goes.
And that most of the information that you have, you got it from people who are working in the police services.
There are medical certificates about abuse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some information you might have got from community members.
Yes.
And those,
quite a lot.
And those are the people that you have said here, for ethical reasons, you may not mention their names.
Yes.
Those are your sources.
Yeah.
And that the members, Honorable Nomvalo and Honorable Ntuli, when they say there is evidence that you presented here, which is hearsay, it is not hearsay to you in this context because people might have confided with you and even shown you some material evidence. That is why, from your point, you may argue that is not hearsay. But here, before this committee, because that confidential information is not brought forth, it becomes hearsay. Do you agree?
Well, like the other evidence that hasn't been corroborated, I guess any of the evidence that's not watered, surely, am I right to say?
Listen to what I'm saying. To you as a researcher,
yeah,
the information has been corroborated because people might have shown you material evidence on which you can rely. Let's say somebody says, I want to show you a medical report. And then they produce the medical report to you. It does no longer become a hearsay to you. But when you appear before a committee of parliament, you appear before a court of law, you make a statement and say, Soviet was suffering from this kind of illness. And they ask you, where is the medical report? You say, no, I can't produce it because it's a confidential matter. It becomes hearsay. Do you agree with me? That is exactly the point that the two honorable members were probing for you to through your wisdom, come to a point where you say, yes, I agree with you that because I would have confirmed the information myself and it's confidential, I would not be able to bring any evidence before you unless my sources volunteer to come and present it before you. For me, it might not be hearsay because I have confirmed it. But before the committee, in the absence of any evidence, even if I, as Dr. de Haas, might have seen it, but when I appear before you without any material evidence, you rightfully consider that as a hearsay evidence.
Yes, although, can I just make one point? You must remember that in two of the cases that the task team did, let's take Mzinti case, because that's well documented. The case was withdrawn by the court. So I presume they found too that there was no evidence in terms of the section of the CPA.
Yes, it's true. They will find, even if you have the evidence, the court will find that there is no evidence because it has not been presented before court. You get it? Yes.
Yeah, it was a court outcome.
So you agree with what you are saying that you might have confirmed, you might have seen documents, you might have seen this and that. But if that information never appears before any competent authority, it will remain hearsay regardless of how truthful that information is. And that is why in your own word of mouth, you have also said, I have written to several authorities because I wanted them to further investigate these allegations. Thank you so much. The Democratic Alliance, Chief Whip, are you satisfied? Okay. The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Chair.
Is it you and Honorable Kola Barnett?
That's correct, yes, Chair.
You will tell me when you are done. Thank you so much.
Yes, Chair. I just want to confirm we have half an hour to split between the two of us, correct? We have half an hour between the two of us.
You have 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
2020, so it means at 6:10,
Yeah.
when we break, you are the ones who will take us to break.
Okay.
Because we can't go beyond 3 hours in a session.
100%.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chair. Thank you, Dr. de Haas. I want to start by asking, do you enjoy speaking to the media or to give interviews and statements or public talks about these kinds of allegations?
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy any of this. I don't get paid for it. I risk my life, I give my time, but nobody else does it. And that's why I do it. Yeah, sorry. Of course, sorry. Are we still working both ways?
Would you say that in... Okay.
Answering that. I'm a social scientist. I understand I've got quite a loud voice anyway. Oh gosh. Where do you want to go?
The chair to go up a bit. Yeah.
Thanks.
So you can sit down. That's it.
I understand how society works and how power structures work, and how in a democracy we need maximum freedom of information, and we need bureaucracies that aren't patronage networks, and we don't have them. They're a counter to governance to balance the power in society. So I start with that context, and then I try to do my best to see what's happening in the police, where the abuses are, and I try to be, I'm asked for comment, and I don't much like it. It can be quite a nuisance, especially television. I hate it. And at the same time, I do want to convey information publicly, because the public can then run with it, find out for itself, do things, including political parties. I started back in the 80s by complaining to a political party to ask them to do something. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. So by what we've heard today, the allegations that you made are not based on your own direct or personal knowledge, are they?
Well, personal knowledge in terms of what people have told me.
No, but what you've experienced.
Some of it I've experienced on the other end of my phone with people.
But you've physically experienced.
Well, it depends what you mean with physically experienced.
I'm saying that it's not gossip. It's not gossip, it's fact.
Let's put it that way, but I haven't been through what the people I talk to are experiencing.
Have allegedly experienced.
Well, they tell me are experiencing. Of course, it's all alleged until I see sometimes you have the medical evidence in these things, or sometimes people are threatened and they get killed, and that's evidence.
Respectfully, Doctor, we don't have the luxury of saying that and just saying we report something for someone else to deal with. I'm going to come to that now in my next few questions, but I want to use an example for you. Were you present in the events that you previously accused General Johan Boysen of? I think it was just before 2018, around there, regarding the Cato Manor Squad. Did you experience any of the things that you accused them of?
Well, okay. Let's look at that. I don't know why you're bringing this in.
No, it's very relevant. I'll show you now.
It's very relevant. I was getting complaints from taxi operators about members of his unit taking kickbacks and working with one faction in the taxis.
But did you see evidence of that?
Well, there's a person who wanted desperately to give evidence who was working with them.
Respectfully, Doctor, did you or did you not see evidence?
I've seen the videos of it.
No, but did you see evidence, yes or no?
Okay. There was one man who was killed by the unit. The police told me what had happened because the networks, a man who'd witnessed it, and he had no vested interest. He was a white guy, he was horrified. He told me exactly what they'd done. The lawyer himself, a lawyer had also phoned me and said, what was Boyson doing there? Now, I don't know why you're bringing this up.
I'll show you now. But that's not, you don't have to question that. I'll show you why. There's a run-up in this because I'm concerned about the lack of evidence. Despite all your public statements, not one of the things you've said so far, you keep on saying you wrote to Parliament. Trust me, I know. I've got an entire folder with letters, but very few case numbers where you made statements with specific cases, with specific evidence, where you were able to literally go and open a docket at a police station. So my questions regarding that, have you ever gone to the police, let's say in the last 5 years, for a formal sworn statement?
Yes.
Where are they? Why haven't you?
No, hang on a sec. Depends what you're asking.
No, regarding any of the allegations that you've made in your statement. Similar to with Johan Boyson, let's talk about the statement that you've submitted to us. Have you done anything to lay charges at the police?
Now, hang on a sec. This is not quite the same thing. I never opened. I wrote to the organised crime unit. It was not up to me. People I worked with opened cases, not me. I just wrote and asked questions. I did not personally ever, until what happened then was, before the Sunday Times, I think, wrote that article, they were looking at taxi violence, and I put them in touch with taxi members. Right. There was I don't know, you may not have seen this. A taxi driver whose members had all been shot dead got an interdict to stop him being killed. And it was against clearly as MEC, against Boyson, against the minister. And the evidence was there, torture, this, that. He got the interdict. And a few weeks later, he was shot dead by the very people that he got the interdict against. Now, I mean, I wasn't.
Do you know that? Do you have evidence for that? Do you have evidence for that, or is it just hearsay?
Well, it's a court finding that it was serious and that there was an interdict.
No, but was there evidence that was the reason for him being shot?
Well, it was linked to the taxi conflict in the area.
No, but you see, this is
what I'm saying. Okay,
I'm going to come
back. Let me give you one case where the evidence is crystal clear. A 16-year-old child.
No, but is this relevant to this, to what I've asked you?
Well, I'm talking about evidence. I'm saying in some of these cases there's evidence. And this is not about the case.
No, but any of the questions I've asked you now, do you have evidence for any of those?
What do you mean? The question about what I wrote to the task team about, what I wrote about the task team.
So, yeah, let's say for the task team, did you open any cases regarding it? Do you go put down or make any statements or open a docket regarding the task team allegations that you've made?
Who could I open it with?
With the police, the South African Police Service.
Well, when the provincial commissioner is helping to run the task team, what's the use of going to the police to open a case when these people are already facing cases and it's up to the court to decide? Why should I open a case?
Yeah, but that's a very convenient answer because you speak about it publicly and you condemn a whole lot of things, which is your right. But then you need to probably prove why you've condemned certain things. I might even agree with you on certain things. The point is just that you can't just haphazardly say these things in the media as though it is fact when we actually don't know if it is fact. Have you ever submitted any kind of an affidavit to any court or possibly to the MPA or let's say to IDAC regarding any of the allegations that you've made in your statement?
Well, as I've explained, I didn't know that IDAC would. I didn't know that I could go to IDAC. I think I have sent it to some judicial bodies and got nowhere to ask, what do I do about this? But you see, what you're saying is, I can't do much until these cases proceed in court. But when there are common themes about abuse, about acting unlawfully, and when there's no need whatsoever for this team, the only people I can go to are the minister and the parliament to try and take it further.
Isn't it a fact that by speaking publicly but not officially, you avoid any legal consequences for your words?
No, not at all. I mean,
but you said you make it public while you leave it for someone else to verify. So that means I can go on any platform and I can say what I like, and Honourable Ngola or Honourable Matthys, any one of them would need to go and verify it.
I do it because I've been doing it for 40 years and I've been proven right, including by charges against hitmen brought on my evidence.
But on 2018 with Voisin, you were found to be wrong. High Court overturned it. There was an interdict and the court made it very clear that what you had said was not accurate.
I'd said, I didn't make statements against Voisin, I challenged.
No, I've got the article in front of me, News 24, I'll send you the link. The next one, you will agree that such a possibility exists. Let me start with this one maybe.
No, I'm confused now because I wrote to I believe that if you want to focus on Voisin, I believe the racketeering charges were wrong. There was no evidence, but I believe that in some of those cases, like the taxi driver, there was independent police.
Let me refresh your memory, Doctor. You said that the original report on the Cato Manor squad, you couldn't see why anything would be wrong in it. That's what you said, despite the fact that court later proved the relevant.
I did not approve of the charging. I never said that the racketeering charges. I did say that I realized that there were charges that should have been brought. In fact, Advocate Batoy sent the dockets back and told the advocate in KZN
so you
to
can see there was a mistake in what you said. There was a mistake in what you said.
Mistake. What was I talking about?
Well, I'm telling you now that regarding today and the questions we've asked or I've asked you regarding General Boyson, is that I would not go as far as even saying yes. I hear what some of my colleagues say. I would sue you for defamation. You just haphazardly say things about people. We don't have that luxury because if we do that, we get ethics complaints against us. And I can refresh your memory on that as well.
Yeah,
are you aware that General Boyson took your allegations to High Court? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, and have you?
And you're aware that the High Court ruled? Are you aware that the High Court ruled in his favour, finding the allegations to be baseless? Are you aware of that?
They found the allegations against racketeering were based. The cases dragged on. They were withdrawn. They were sent back to the Provincial DPP for an individual assessment, which I think should have happened. They should have been.
But you are aware, the point is you are aware that High Court ruled in General Boyson's favour, finding that the allegations were baseless.
When was that? That they ruled that it was baseless?
2018. I'll send you that link as well. The court, after examining the actual evidence, disproved the very gossip you have been spreading. Your campaign against General Boyson, in fact, has been legally discredited by a judge. And you've previously justified your refusal to name names by citing a right to remain silent. Am I correct?
Now, hang on. Is this when the charges... I'm confused. Is this when the charges against all of them were withdrawn after years and years of the carrying on? Because the Boyson charges had been withdrawn before that, as I remember. And I think the Boyson charges were completely out of order. There was at that stage, no evidence for racketeering.
Dr. de Haas, let's clear the slate, because I think we're speaking past each other. In terms of what was said today, you have previously, or you said today, that the right to remain silent is a protection for an accused person facing criminal charges, isn't it?
Well, that is part of what's allowed.
You're not the accused here. You're a witness, or at least you are posing as one. Do you understand the difference?
Well, I was called because I'm a witness, I take it. Or no, I was called to give evidence. I'm not a witness to any... But what I don't understand is I don't know what this has all got to do with what is happening with the task team, because it's a very different situation.
Well, it's quite simple. You made certain allegations. You don't have evidence to back it up. We need to see the evidence in order for us to write a report to make recommendations to Parliament. So you're not the accuser, you're a witness. A witness has a moral duty to come forward with evidence, not to hide behind the rights of the accused. So do you understand that?
The accused also have rights, you know.
But you're not the accused. That's my point. You're not the accused, though. You're the witness. So when you invoke the right to remain silent, you're either fundamentally confused about the law or you're using it as a shield to avoid accountability for your unsubstantiated claim. So which one is it?
Look, the only thing I have refused to divulge is the names of policemen who gave me information. The rest is public. And I wrote to Parliament hoping they would call people in and interrogate the matter. Right. You know, did you get orders? Tell us. Show us the orders you got. Did you get this, that, the other? Now, I have a duty as a human rights defender to report abuses. I have got nowhere, I'm afraid. And I mean, that's another whole story, that IPID itself is not functioning properly. There's a whole story there.
But and let's pause.
So what I could do is go to Parliament and say, will you just call the minister in and ask him these questions and see if...
You just said you have a duty to protect people's rights, correct?
Yes.
Don't you have the same duty to not defame people or to not make wild accusations without evidence?
Wild allegations. I'm making allegations.
So everything in your statement you've got evidence for.
Look,
and don't get me wrong. I know that sometimes we have to join the dots.
In this statement, I'm reporting very clearly what people told me and what appears to be credible information that I want investigated. That's why I read
what
this.
Appears to be.
How do you know? You can't say it.
You just said it. I'm just quoting you.
But I'm just saying, it seems very likely when different people say the same things quite independently, when they talk about the torture, when they talk about the seizures, when they talk about this, there's a parallel, different people who don't even know each other. I have a duty to say this is a pattern. It's a pattern that's that's emerging. And that's what I'm saying, and I want it investigated.
You are 100% correct that you need to report those things. What I'm saying to you is that if you make accusations, public statements and accusations, like earlier when you're saying certain people aren't legitimate, I can't remember the exact word that Honourable Skosana used, but I think he asked if certain people were credible. If you make a statement like that, you need to be able to back it up. You can't just make a statement because of what someone else said. I understand that sometimes you need to join the dots, 100%. Sometimes we don't know 100% of something. We know 80% of it. And I get that then we have to speak about context and openly say we're not sure about this or that. But to just go out with sweeping statements and to create the impression like everything is wrong or everything is fine creates a significant misrepresentation. I want to ask you, and just as a correction, maybe, you said earlier that Parliament didn't respond to your complaint from late last year. Parliament did. And in fact, Parliament even forwarded your complaints to the Minister of Police, to the National Commissioner as well. So just to let you know, that was done. And the response was sent to you. We did acknowledge receipt. In fact, Babalwa Mbengu was the one that...
acknowledged receipt, but after that I did
but
more.
It mustn't create the impression that Parliament didn't respond.
Well, it was a receipt of something. I don't know what you did with it because you didn't tell me.
Well, I don't need to, but in January, we had that session about the political killing task team. We had the first round then. It was eventually postponed to another month, but we ended up doing it. So...
But I mean, I didn't get any notice of that, so I didn't know that you.
But then you can't exactly. Then you can't just make the statement. Before you make the statement and you sign on the dotted line, you need to make sure that it's credible. We can't just make a sweeping statement about what we do and don't do, because it creates a total and utter misperception of our work.
Well, look, I've had responses in the past to say thank you and we'll do this or do that, and I didn't, so I assumed nothing was being done, but thank you for correcting it. No, I hadn't been told that before.
Dr. de Haas, I'm going to, in the chair's absence, I want to hand over to the Honourable Kola Barnard.
Yeah, no, as the acting chair, thank you, Honourable Cameron. Honourable Barnard, it's your time now.
Thank you very much. Just to go back, because I was there during the whole business of the looted 45 million, or attempts to loot the 45 million, the notorious 45 million. It seems there were many careers destroyed by that revelation of that 45 million. The then Crime Intelligence Financial Officer, Brigadier Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, stopped the money and the purchase of the notorious grabbers, and was immediately facing disciplinary hearing and was eventually dismissed. Robert McBride, as head of the IPID, was very vocal about it, spoke very openly about it in the Police Portfolio Committee, and he was then promptly suspended and had to go to court. The courts cleared him, and the upshot of all of that was he was refused a second term. What confused me was when we were listening to Cedric Nkabinda, who I gather is coming back, that the decision to prevent Robert McBride, as then head of IPID, for standing for a second term was taken elsewhere, not in Parliament, before the committee even sat to take the decision, which it seems, and indeed seemed very obvious to me during the meeting, that it was all predetermined. It was a hatchet job of note. In fact, I think I walked out in utter horror at what was going on. And it seemed to me that at that stage, Parliament was just being treated as a rubber stamp organisation. The decision's already taken, there's the rubber stamp, just click it, tick the box, move on. Is this perhaps an example of the political interference that has been so much spoken about of late?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was because, I mean, my feeling is, and it's not, it's peripheral to what you've said. I mean, I think, and your committee, if I remember rightly, was a good committee. Were you on the committee before Beukman or after, during Beukman? He was a very good chair, yes. And I mean, if you look back, going right back to after Zuma became president, there was a gradual, more and more interference in government institutions by ministers. And I mean, there's like, for example, yeah. And at that time, it must, I mean, as I said, I can't comment, but I would agree with you that it seems to have been all arranged beforehand, before the, you know, that McBride couldn't come back. But what I do know is that, I mean, an IPID itself became very polarized, very, very polarized. After that, I think it was, I got the most awful letter from them where they were all fighting among themselves. And the other thing was that the person that was appointed to head IPID, I don't think had the competence to do it, because I'd worked with the police reporting officer, which became something else and then IPID from the beginning, and there were always prosecutors or advocates or prosecutors in charge of IPID, and I think this person lacked most of those qualifications. Be that as it may, but I think your point is very important, because I went to the Portfolio Committee in the last Parliament and gave evidence about why there had to be completely independent oversight of IPID. And I drew on a whole range of information from European countries where the ministers don't come near it, or if people have been in the police for a while. I remember saying to Beukman, We've got a head of IPID in KZN who was a police general. How can we have that? We've got policemen who were working in an area that are now in IPID. You've got to have independence, and that's in my submission. And I think the DA also agreed that the legislation that was passed, I think you opposed it. I think the DA opposed it. But the majority won the day, and I believe, and I'm saying this because I think, bear it in mind, I believe that new legislation does not give sufficient independence to IPID because it still allows the minister to have a hand in it, what I think. And I think there was probably intervention by ministers then. Certainly, I know from people in KwaZulu-Natal, clearly was everywhere and doing everything himself instead, you know, and of course he wanted Sithole out and, I mean, yeah, but I'm sure there's political interference all over the place. You know, you can't get prosecutions of people like clearly.
You refer on page 100 of your additional documents to what you, that pack, to what you call malicious arrests, this in relation to the PKTT. Please expound on that claim.
They appear to be malicious. They certainly do. I mean, you know, it's, I mean, the fact that charges were completely withdrawn against Mzindli on fairly minor stuff for which he'd been refused bail, and against another man too, Vete, they were withdrawn. I mean, Dlamini, why on earth is he being charged and refused bail for allegedly defeating the ends of justice? And he told me that in the disciplinary case, the one witness they relied on had admitted that he'd been told to sign the statement. So I don't, you know, that appears malicious. I can't speak about the Cater Manor people, but there is a consensus out there in the community, but hey, they didn't do it. And even a policeman told me that the other day. They're not the people who did it. And I've traced it back again to factual disparities in Tekwini that are likely. But my problem, I mean, with I mean, it's not just the task team doing this. In Glebelands, they went in and they kept charging people without, because they were they were opposing the councillor. And I went in, one of them was charged. He was badly tortured. I mean, limping, he'd been really abused. I went into his hearing and I was sitting there, and one after the other was getting up and charges were being withdrawn. And the charges were withdrawn against the abuse guy. He'd lost his job in the meantime. And it became a common thing to deal with political enemies. They brought malicious charges in the 90s against Vilagazi, who was arresting IFP wards. They then brought malicious charges against the top investigator who was getting to the root of the intra-ANC violence in Richmond. And they were maliciously charged. So I've seen this happening, and I'm wondering if it's a way of kind of discouraging. I mean, nothing's proof until you get everything out in the open in a court case, and people can go along and give their evidence. But what I am concerned about is this creeping culture of secrecy, and this is why I will defend myself about giving the only opinions I give to the media. It's sending people off to do their own work that I'm hoping to do when I go public. But I'm really concerned. I'd also given evidence about that secrecy bill. Very alarmed. There was a creeping culture of secrecy. The Mkhwanazi report said 6 years ago it is urgent to get civilian control back. And it hasn't happened yet because, as you know, the Honourable Kola Barnard, as you know, that report was driven through Parliament last year. The law was, and only enacted this year. So we've lost 6 years. And in the meantime, there's no real control over the intelligence agencies to speak of, even by Parliament, until we get the Inspector General's office sorted out. I think that's a priority.
You referred to move to page 102. You say, and I'm quoting, dead dead men tell no tales. You're referring to the political killing task team, and you claim that the PKTT kills rather than arrests. Now, do you have any figures, any stats? Do you have any proof that that is happening? I live in KZN, and I am of the opinion that police killings have increased, but I have no proof.
No, look, I don't know if it's linked. I mean, the killings that have increased, and these are reported in the media, and your colleague, Honourable Breitenbach, sent a researcher to me to get information about it. Dozens of killings, no witnesses. In one case, I know that the man who, a member of one of the police teams, it wasn't the political killings team though, another team altogether, is apparently notorious for killing people, just shooting them dead. And I also know, because our mortuaries, you'll be hearing a lot more about that, or the Justice Portfolio Committee will. I'm a member of a medical rights group. Our mortuaries in KZN are dysfunctional, starting with when Glormo was MEC, when he also killed cancer patients with corruption. And that is in a report. I mean, it's not my hearsay. Right. Glormo also sided with criminal employees who went out on strike illegally and did everything, and they lost most of the good pathologists. The equipment doesn't work a lot of the time. To cut a long story short, our medical rights group that's got the former head of law, it's got one of our top pathologists and medical people, sent a report to the Law Commission requesting that the mortuaries be taken away from the Department of Health and put under an independent board. Because we don't know how many of these killings were deliberate and how many not, but we know in one private post-mortem that was done by the very same policeman allegedly killing other people, that the top pathologist said the 4 or 5 deceased could not have posed a threat to the police. But we can't get further. So Parliament is going to be getting more lobbying because we're going back to the Law Commission. They ignored us. We said, we want this taken away. Put on representatives of the police, justice, Department of Home Affairs, health. It's got to be an independent board. There's a trade in body parts going on in the Durban mortuary. Whole bodies disappear sometimes. So, I mean, this is the problem with any police killings right now. We don't know, but there's been a spate of them. I mean, I think that for Glynis's researcher, the Honourable Breitenbach's researcher, I gave her a list of some of the names that I had, or some of the details, but we honestly don't know whether they were justified or not. But I don't know, they're not linked specifically to the political killings task team. It's linked more to the extraordinarily high numbers of people getting killed by
in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking at much of what you've written in the reports, it seems you're putting the cost of the political killing task team in juxtaposition to the relatively small number of political killings versus the over 70 daily civilians killed nationally. I don't know what it is in KwaZulu-Natal specifically. Cost-wise, the political killing task team does appear to be incredibly well-resourced, but I don't want to use the phrase bang for the buck, but you understand what I'm saying. Mm. The money spent there in relation to perhaps boosting other of the specialized units may be more effective. I don't know if the study has been done.
No, I don't know either. All I know is that right now there's an area in Camperdown, which is near Maritzburg. Some of it is restitution land. Some of it's more private owned. There are 3 court interdicts on that land to stop invasions. They're being ignored. Land, housing mafias are coming in with rifles and threatening and intimidating. People are desperate. And there's not an operational response person in sight. That's where they should be. Now, and yet we're spending the money running around with the task team. Women are telling me in townships, former townships around Durban, we know about the Cape Flats, but it's mayhem in townships. They say they can't sleep at night for the gunshots. That's why I'm making this thing about guns. They say kids are running around with drugs and guns, and then nothing's being done about it. These are ordinary, decent people. We're talking about mothers who are so worried about their kids. Talking about on Saturday, the kids that were studying for the matric exams up in the Matuba area were robbed. They were studying for matric at night with their teacher, and along come the thugs, robbed them, terrorized them. No police. Now, I mean, we've got to do something about police resources. We've got to balance them. I mean, the farmers are still saying they're attacked for political reasons. Well, we know that story. But, you know, I mean, it's been broadcast in America by Trump. But the point is it's rural safety. It's a symptom of lack of complete rural safety. You don't hear about all these black people that are getting killed all the time in those areas. Even people in another area, it's restitution land. The man who's leading the anti-mining movement and even one of the traditional leaders under threat of death. I mean, we've got to balance these resources properly. It's a sheer luxury to keep paying this political killings task team for what's not needed, because we must empower our detectives. We must train them well, and they can tackle everything then. I mean, these criminal cases. Yeah.
My final question. Were you surprised at all when the Inspector General of Intelligence was suddenly suspended by the President?
I was amazed because I'd had good dealings with him. I mean, I didn't know him, but I mean, we had sent him stuff confidentially because it was confidential information about all the front companies and things. And he actually wrote and thanked me for it. He was grateful for it. He seemed to be, from what I was seeing, a big improvement. But look, remember, the post had been vacant for years. But he did seem to be getting on with things, from what I've heard from other people and my own experience, that he was taking what we were sending him seriously.
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable Kola Barnett. Doctor, do you know Sibongiseni Dlomo, Dr. Sibongiseni Dlomo?
Oh, God.
Who was the MEC of Health in KwaZulu-Natal?
Very well. Bad news.
And then did I hear you saying that Dlomo killed a cancer patient?
Indirectly, because what happened was we had almost brand new, there's a 50-page report we sent to everybody, the Human Rights Commission, nobody did. And it was, what happened was that the new cancer machines weren't serviced.
Listen to me, doctor.
The new cancer machines were not serviced, and cancer patients who were treatable died.
Listen to me, doctor. Dlomo killed cancer patients with his corruption. Is that what the statement you want to put here?
No, okay. Sorry. There was a report from there was a very good investigative journalist who was following it up. I think it embarrassed people, and there was a very good DA MP, Dr. Kika, who was also involved. What happened was this, that the Office of the Treasury in KZN did a report that showed the corruption, that the money had been siphoned off irregularly, that was destined. There's also a letter I have from the head of the department saying, yes, we gave this report to Dr. Dlomo. So he did something, he did nothing, he had the report. Now that's corruption in terms of anti-corruption legislation. If you know something. Anyway, So the cancer patients died because the money to service the machines had just disappeared. Okay. We then write to the Human Rights Commission. They do nothing.
No, doctor.
But what do you want me to say? You criticize that report.
I got that part. What I want to hear from you is that are you able to reiterate what you said, that Dr. Dlomo killed cancer patients with his corruption?
Can I put it more tactfully? When Dr. Dlomo was MEC for Health, there was gross corruption in the cancer, the oncology. They were almost new machines. They weren't serviced. There was no money. There was a Treasury report about corruption. Dlomo was responsible because he knew about it and did nothing. We don't have to say he killed people, but if you are told about corruption and cancer patients die, you're responsible.
You don't want to say he killed people.
No, I don't want to say that publicly. I was responding to...
You want to withdraw that statement?
I want to withdraw. I want to withdraw.
Dr. Dlomo killed people with his... killed cancer patients with his corruption. Yes,
let's not say it though.
Doctor, I want to hear you saying it, that I want to withdraw the statement that I made about Dr. Dlomo.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, I just want to make a follow-up, Dr. de Haas. Now, in the light of... you might have noticed that I arrived when proceedings were already underway.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
My own experience since after the lunch break has been that you have been withdrawing a lot of assertions we have made in this meeting. And some of these assertions, you would have made them as passionately as your written statement. Would I be correct to conclude that the level at which you become passionate about something and the vigorous nature of your approach in dealing with that issue should not mislead us to think that therefore because of that level of a vigorous nature to the issue is true?
I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to look at what I've written and make an assessment on that. There's a lot of material I've sent to you. As I said to you, I'm sitting in a province where I'm dealing day in, day out with people who are under threat of attack or who want justice and they don't get it. So yes, I'm passionate about it. I don't want to do this. I do it reluctantly because people want me to. And you want to know how many messages I got supporting me? Well, you must do that today. Anyway, but at the same time, when I put something in writing, I can justify it with having at least interviewed, formed an assessment that I want taken forward in the finalization of court processes. And I also... because, as I said, it goes even beyond the fact that we've spent all this money on what appear at this stage to be hardly any successes, given the number of political people died. We can't afford it, quite frankly. We need that money for policing for areas where people are not getting protection, where there aren't enough detectives, where there aren't enough vehicles. There's rural roads in KwaZulu-Natal, where you're a long way from a police station.
Okay, sorry.
So that's what I'm arguing for, resources.
No, I understand that, Dr. de Haas. Maybe I must also, there's quite a few of us here who are from KwaZulu-Natal. So quite a few of us here. Maybe majority of the committee members here are from KZN. So you're talking to people who are familiar with, who were born there, grew up there, activist until we're in parliament now. So, but I don't get a definite answer to my question. Let me tell you why it's important we must understand you properly.
Please.
when you are engaging with us as members of parliament, and like I'm saying earlier on, you are demonstrating a very firm assertiveness on certain issues. And immediately when we interrogate those issues, you concede. And you say, no, I didn't mean that. No, then if you say that, I withdraw. It is the same level of passion and enthusiasm with the subject you are engaged on that is reflected on your written statement, which you did alone without anybody challenging you on it. So my question was, and still is, would you agree with me that therefore it doesn't mean that everything as presented here and the level of authoritative assertiveness you have demonstrated in your written script doesn't necessarily mean all of it must be taken as it is?
I want you to take what I put in writing seriously.
And not...
You've got to distinguish between open responses, because I found some of them kind of quite provocative, I guess, because I don't see what your own Boyson's got to do with this, and I don't see... But, I mean, I have agreed with you that anything is, for you, hearsay, because it's been told to me. I had very, very thorough training in interviewing people and assessing people. I ask questions, I ask other questions to try and find out more and try and for them to confirm. I mean, it doesn't help, you know, if you can't sit down and face people. But when you interact with people, things get often more emotional. I'm sorry, this is Parliament. I'm used to these things in academic things where we're all shouting at each other and contradicting each other and things like that. But I want you to distinguish between what I think and write, because when I put things in writing, I'm more careful than when I speak.
Oh, no, then I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chief Whip. And thanks very much, honorable members, for this session. We are going to break and come back after 20 minutes. I have said that we will have a short meeting during break, but I'm postponing the meeting when we conclude the session, I mean, today's proceedings. Doctor?
Yes.
May we come back at 20 minutes to 7.
Okay. May I ask, Honourable Chair, how long it's likely to take? Because I was hoping to see a relative in Cape Town, but I don't think it's going to happen.
The relative is watching you here now.
No, I'm just saying, I'm only asking about time for that.
Our problems are many today. I have many problems.
Let me just say to you,
we have serious problems.
This is
Honorable Novalo, Honorable Mola, Honorable Skotane.
Let me honestly respond to the question by Dr. De Haas. When we come back, Honorable Matthys is going to have a conversation with you, then followed by Honorable Sols at the back, and then Honorable James, Honorable Shongwe, and then the Chief Whip. So we are left with 5 speakers. So 20 minutes by 5 is how many minutes? It's about 1 hour 40 minutes, and the SC, oh no, he says he does not have. Maybe I can 5 or 6 minutes. I can also have a conversation with you. Yeah, somewhere.
So a couple of hours.
Yeah, around. So it takes us around to between 20 past 8 and and 8:30.
Okay, well, that's the end of that. Okay, sorry, that's all right. I just needed to know so I can let them know.
Yeah, no, we enjoyed the conversation with you. That's why I said to you, we are like your grandchildren, you see. We sit around the fire.
Indaba.
Yeah, we
Indaba, my children.
Those stories of your youth. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, okay. So we're taking a break, okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
So what were you offering at the university? The University of...
Nola, you. No heaven for you. Where is Kosan? No heaven for you. No Val. No heaven for you.